So we have a Dark Eldar versus Eldar game here, 1750 points. The combat scenario that we're playing is that the defending units, they were in hidden deployment. The attackers were deep striking in, and now the defending unit is revealing their hidden deployment. I had a Ravager deep strike here and had a mishap, and it ended up here on top of the building. And I had 20 warriors there, deep strike, and then during the shooting phase I ran them. So we got witches in that raider, witches in that raider. I have a 20-man warrior squad here with 3 hemicloys attached to it. The hemicloys have hex rifles. So right now with the 3 hemicloys, the 20-man unit is Feel No Pain, Fearless, and Furious Charge. And I elected to still hold 2 raiders in reserves, and they have retro fire, so they will be deep striking in. And that is it. So we're wrapping up the bottom of 1. Lost a raider here. I got to do a pinning and a leadership test there. Heavy fire here. I'm already into a leadership test.
Oh, that's kind of a nice match.
Talus took on 1.
A pinning test here too.
There's a pinning test there as well? Yep. Okay. So we'll put some dice there so we remember.
One rending in that squad.
1 rending hit?
Yep.
So no saving, right? But I got my 4 oh, I lost a guy.
Now you're a pinning test. Yeah, instead of going with the snipers results in pinning test.
So for the top of 2, bunch of shooting went on over there. The troop and the 2 raiders, they shot at both levels, and the snipers up on top managed to wither the most shots. And witches, they moved from here to there. The Talus shot at the bikers, the witches shot at the bikers, then the witches assaulted, did some damage, and then the bikers used the hit and run tactics to move over to that area. These guys here basically just moved to try to get as many as I could on the terrain for cover saves, but wasn't able to get enough of them on there. The Ravager up on top shot at the unit that's being moved right now and killed 2, I think, the Ravager. But with all the shots that I threw at those guys from the ground force, did nothing. And so that is basically all that we got going on here. But still, that was pretty impressive. Over 20 shots in those 2,
shots.
Yeah, like over 40 shots.
They only killed 3.
And only 3 died. So that was pretty fortunate with the, was it a 2+ cover save?
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. So we're still in the assault phase for the bottom of 2. These guys are locked in combat. The big walker just had a mechanism mishap and missed crazy. But the Talus and swinging back didn't do so well either. The Talus Stair wiped out the Harlequins. Was also assaulted by the bikes, but the bikes made their leadership tests and were able to break away with a hit and run. We still had to resolve this close combat here because it's really complex. I got 3 independent characters in there plus the troops, so we gotta figure that out yet. So we're still at the bottom of 2. So the game ended at 3 because there was a special ruling in the game, is if we captured an HQ, the attackers, and then was in a game and bonus victory points. We lost 1 walker here to the Ravager shooting at it. Finally was able to kill the snipers from I think it was 11 wounds on the snipers, and lost my Talus here in close combat against the walker. Took a few wounds here with the squad of 20 down to here. This is where we're at. It was really interesting with the 3 independent characters and the 1 independent character there, and base-to-base contact. It was took a while to figure that out, but it was a good game.
So the opponent, when he placed my Ravager on the building there, it was in hopes that if I moved it, well, first it would be because I'd have to do a dangerous terrain test for the Ravager being placed on the building, and then of course if I was to move it, I'd have to make another test. I made the test, and the Ravager stayed in place, was mobile, and throughout the game I decided, well, since it's nicely placed in the area of advantage, I decided never to move it. So I would say in future retrospect, for anybody who wants to move a object as far as for a vehicle mishap, for deep strike mishap, don't place the vehicle or unit or anything else in an area where it would have a strategic advantage, because being right up on top of that building gave that Ravager full line of sight to just about everything on the table. And that's dark lances, 3 of them, 36-inch range, that have lance capability. So having the unit set up like this worked out really well. I was pleased with the fact that they were fearless and that they actually had the feel no pain feature as well. Worked out great when they did take on shots, because they were in the open. They were able to at least do the feel no pain against the shots they didn't have saves against. And then the shots they did have saves against, the ones they failed, they still had the chance to do the feel no pain. So that 20-man squad was very resilient in that first round with all the shots that they undertook. So what had happened at this stage was that my 2 raiders that had 10-man squad of warriors deep striked in, and both were landed with no deviation where they were placed, where you see on the screen here. Also what worked out great was that the vehicles, both of them had splinter racks. So I had lucked out in the close placement of the raiders to the units, which allowed rapid fire shooting, and with the splinter racks allowed for the re-rolling of the missed shots. So there was those 2 units that were there took an unmeasurable amounts of shots, and it was really amazing that those snipers on the top survived. But I would say it's definitely worth if you're going to keep the units in the vehicle, even though they are just floating tin coffins for the Dark Eldar, the splinter rack upgrade is definitely worth it if you're going to keep them in the vehicle. Before the witch unit that I'm pointing at right now, there was a second witch unit that got attacked by the biker squad, and the vehicle was blown up by the jet bikes, and then they assaulted the crew. And when they assaulted the crew, the witch units I actually had on both of them, I had the Phantasm grenade launcher, and that worked out nicely, because since the witches did get assaulted, my opponent did not get the extra assault bonus because of having that equipment, and thus having that probably helped out greatly, because that was 5 less attacks my witches had to take on, being that they were only a few left after the raider had exploded. So just commentary there.